Okay, y'all, unless you under a rock or something, you would have seen the latest Predecessor 1.8 developer stream, right? They got a whole bunch coming. But today, I want to get into the good stuff, the meat and potatoes, if you will. Predecessor's newest hero, joining the roster at some point today, is named Akeron. You see that big red eye that been sneak dissing us for the past few weeks? The one in the sky, or on Renner's back, depending on where you've been looking, you dirty dog, you. Well, turns out that eye was some sort of demon that been trying to manifest into a human form for like forever.
Of course, Akeron is the Demon King of Ashkarath, which is one of the worlds that you guys have heard bits and pieces of so far. You know, it's kind of this mysterious place where there's a lot of bad things happening, more or less. But essentially, Akeron used to be this giant threat to the greater universe, and he was sealed away in there by the Koro Shinzo, so basically by the people that, or rather the group that Yurei and Rena were once a part of. Of course, Rena defected at a certain point, being tempted in by the call of the Demon King. So, of course, at that point, Rena wanted to work against everything that Yurei had been going for in keeping Akeron sealed away. But now, Akeron's finally free, ladies and gentlemen, which means that it's time for a bit of destruction to come across the land. You saw the rift in the sky. Well, the rift has been torn wide open now. Akeron's free, and his legion follows with him.
So, Yurei had that boy under lock and key, but Rena done gave him the alley-oop to sneak into our world. It's interesting, man. If y'all want a video breakdown of that whole storyline, let me know in the comments. Long story short, we are left with this. Yeah, this. He a badass, I'm not gonna lie, and his skill set do be looking good on paper. But during the developer live stream, there were a few comments made that I think flew over gamers' heads, which signify that Akeron is just the start of a huge shift coming in our hero character selection. I'll go over Akeron specifically in another video, but let's touch on those points real quick.
I know one of the things that we had to do for this hero, not only do we have to do some brand new rigging for the hero model itself, but we also did some new tech for the web slinging. Take us through a little bit of some of that.
Yes, so when you're on the wall, if you kind of notice here, there's a lot of technology that we kind of started to work into this character to position him on the wall accordingly, get those grippers gripping, you know what I mean? So that is one big portion of it. But another thing that actually went into this is a kind of camera visibility feature where, as you can see here, when your camera is inside of the wall, or as it would be inside of the wall, you actually can start to see through Akeron's mesh because he's a big boy. So you want to be able to see your targets while still being able to look at your animations and look at your targeting and things like that. So making sure that that was all going to feel really natural was something that we really wanted to focus on. And on top of that, you may be noticing here, we typically don't have targeting for lobs, and what this is essentially is Akeron treating himself like a projectile when he leaps off of this wall. So we also got to pioneer a new feature of lob targeting for Akeron, which, you know, in the future we could be using for more characters, applied to old characters, which is very exciting. It's going to make those abilities a lot more accessible and clear when you're using them as well. So that's just another one of the very, very cool features that the team worked on to make this character feel so versatile, flexible, and overall just very clear to use. And I am so excited to introduce more of these features across the board because it has been such a journey, but honestly, it has been so much fun to work on heroes and work through these features, and hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more cool stuff thanks to all of these new heroes we've got in the pipeline.
So, what we have here over at the Predecessor Studios explaining some of the creative process and hurdles that were overcome when creating Akeron. I don't know about y'all, but this was honestly the most interesting part of the whole video for me. Let me explain why. So, we are all familiar with Paragon, right? As in the OG Predecessor. Once that game was shut down, the game we now know as Predecessor and a competitor called Paragon the Overprime were released. If you look at my earlier videos, I started off playing Paragon, and I fell in love with the game. but there was always an issue that left a sour taste in creators' mouths. There seemed to be a disconnect between the audience and the developers. Patches would bring changes, but never the exact changes that the audience wanted to see. And yeah, this is typical with nearly all games, but what I'm seeing here with Predecessor is something I did not see with Paragon. The developers are letting us in on the future-proofing features that they are subtly adding in, and these features will all impact and benefit future heroes moving forward. In 1.6, we got Spider-Man on, and even then I had noticed that they were stepping outside of their comfort zone over at the office, trying new things and setting Predecessor apart from any other MOBA in the genre. Now we have a hero that can cling to walls and launch themselves onto the ground, similar to Kalari Jump or Seret's Dive, but not the same as them. And that is where Omeda get my respect. They know that the original Paragon roster was a work in progress, and so they are taking the steps to ensure that their custom heroes carry on pushing boundaries and redefining what is actually possible. I haven't even got into the map changes, man. That takes a whole other video. Before a growing game, and one that has yet to cement itself in the MOBA space, Predecessor is doing exactly what they need to do to embrace the influx of new players that will eventually come. And I think they do their flowers. What you think? Am I thinking into it too deep, or do you see my point here? Transparent mesh models on backgrounds might not seem like a big deal, but now they've done it, they can apply it to all previous and future heroes. The new projectile lobbing visual might not be a game changer, but it could be the inspiration for certain characters we haven't even seen yet, as well as improving some existing heroes that we did not even ask to be improved. And if Omeda keep going in this direction, being as daring and innovative as they are, they have my full support. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you watched it all the way through, man. Your boy trying to grow. And you best believe I'm gonna be going crazy with Akeron later today. Stay tuned for a ton of content covering our newest jungle support very soon.